All right, fellas, let's get this show on the road, man. I did my notes, and I'm really excited to talk about the running backs. I'm glad I did decide, like I said in the last video, to wait. I waited, and look what happened. Let's start right off with, well, first and foremost, welcome to part two of the FanDuel Week 1 slate review. Today we'll talk about a little preseason news, then we'll go right into the running backs and the defenses. So starting off with part two, we'll start off with some news. Number one, hey man, Jets got their man Dalvin Cook for 1 year. I think it was like an $8 million deal. But that's what I'm gonna mention about it. Dalvin's not on the slate. The Jets play the Bills, I think, on the Sunday night game, or is it Monday night? I think it's Monday night. I think the Sunday night game is Giants and Cowboys. So neither one of the New York teams are on the slate. They're both primetime. They're both primetime single games that'll be on FanDuel. Next news will be Zeke Elliott does end up signing with Dallas. I do like the deal. Well, I like the situation with Zeke because I'm a big Zeke fan. Yeah, I mean, never really cheered for Ohio State like that, but when I saw Zeke in Ohio State, the man was legit. He's at the point of his career where he definitely needs a partner. He can't be the workhorse all season, but when it comes to fantasy, can you see Zeke being a potential top 15, top 10 scoring running back for the week? Yeah, he has that skill set and that ability. He needs to, spell himself while Ramondre takes the bulk of the work. But I think Zeke is still capable enough to make it a 60-40. Kind of like a Pollard kind of 55-45 kind of split and something like that. So I do like the move on that one. I can't comment on the prices because FanDuel actually did the smart thing, and it's still, as of right now, that news dropped yesterday, and they're still not on the slate. FanDuel is actually still trying to figure out where they're going to put these guys because technically they weren't on the team. So if you used to ask me, I won't be surprised. I'm going to take a wild guess. We could revisit this. I think for this slate, I think Dalvin could drop in the high sevens. I think Dalvin could get not even mid sevens. I think he could get into the high sevens. All right, so there's a gap between Josh Jacobs at 84 and Bijan Robinson for Atlanta at 78. Then Travis Etienne at 77. Joe Mixon at 75. I think Dalvin Cook could fit somewhere in there. He could be in that high 7 range or whatever, or be tied with one of these guys at the same price. When it comes to Zeke, obviously he's going to be sharing that lower Ramondre. I got Zeke maybe around where Ramondre is at 7,000, or maybe he's a little lower in the mid sixes, and he'll fall in the Cam Akers, James Connors range, somewhere between 67 and 65, where also Javonte Williams and J.K. Dobbins and Brian Robinson is at. So, and other news today, this was, I mean, I'm a couple of days earlier, whatever, because obviously they didn't have a quarterback yet, but now after week 1 and a little bit of training camp and some preseason practices, it's the second year in a row a Florida kid made some news. This time is the quarterback for Indianapolis, the number 4 overall pick, Anthony Richardson. He just got named the starter, guys, so he has a lot to prove passing, so this is going to be kind of, I really already see this as a Justin Fields kind of thing, but the quickness this kid has, we're talking about fantasy, I could easily see Anthony Richardson, and he's already priced, he's at 6,700. Anthony Richardson is going to have those Justin Fields games before Justin Fields really started getting hot at the end of the season. I could really see him having a few of those. He still has to work on the arm talent, yes, but his mobility and his speed in the pocket, before he starts getting into a groove and before him and Michael Pittman can start connecting, I really see a lot of like 11, 9, 10, maybe even 12 completion games with like 24 to 27 attempts. Because I know they're not going to want to try and throw everything at the rookie. If they could somehow get the Taylor situation situated, then I mean, obviously Taylor would take a lot of pressure off him, but if Jonathan's not going to be there, then they might have to rely on some of the running back presence and maybe Anthony slinging that ball a little bit. But like I said, there could be a lot of 12 for 27, 9 for 24 days passing through the air, but he could give you 11 to 15 rushes for over 100 yards and maybe even 2 touchdowns to mitigate whatever turnovers he has. So he has that skill level. So I'm happy for any Florida kid that gets a chance. So last year was oh shit, what was the kid's name? What was it Damian Jones or Damian Williams? I forgot the kid's name, but man, it's another Florida kid makes another big splash, and yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. I didn't think he was gonna get the job, honestly, because they do have a capable backup in Gardner Minshew to mentor him or whatever. So, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. It's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting. But once again, hey, good for him. I'm happy for him. And I'm just trying to scroll through a couple of things here. Where the hell is all this stuff at? I'm actually trying to find the guy I was talking about. Who's the guy Damian Pierce. Sorry, I said Damian Williams. Damian Pierce was the guy that took the starting job and actually got a veteran cut in. He's not a starting running back for Houston. So Florida doing their thing. So that's the quick news right there. Oh, one more piece of news. And it, falls with the running back. Like I said, I wanted to wait to see it get some news. Breece Hall just got activated off the PUP list. It's a good thing. But even with Dalvin there, they don't have to make him the man. Same thing like Javonte Williams. Those are two great, talented, strong, hard-running rookies that both suffered bad injuries. Javonte Williams is also, when it comes to progress coming back from an injury, he is ahead in a way. And because, like I said, being on the PUP list, there's a chance that if you wasn't activated, I think you have to miss the first 6 to 8 weeks if you wasn't activated off the PUP list by a certain time. So the fact that he just got activated off it with still 2 weeks left in the preseason, that's good news. Happy for him, and that's just more depth in the backfield for the Jets. But yeah, if there's one thing I can tell you guys about the FanDuel pricing for the running backs, if you haven't really if you just glazed at it or whatever the case is, it's pretty much very fair pricing. Like, we have the McCaffreys. My favorite top play, if you're gonna pay up, is Austin Eckler at 9,000. McCaffrey has to go against that Pittsburgh defense or whatever at 9,200. You got Nick Chubb in the Battle of Ohio, home against Cincinnati. He's at 86. Derrick Henry. That's a tough place to run. New Orleans is and especially at home. That's one of those defenses. I might not be too heavy on Henry. Can Henry's volume overtake? Like I said, this is fantasy, but at 8,500, that's a tough ask for me. Josh Jacobs at Denver. Me being a Denver fan, but Denver's more susceptible to the run, even though they do have a nice front seven. They're more susceptible to the run than getting burned in the passing game. So Josh Jacobs is somebody you could look at 84. You got Bijan Robinson, one of the young rookie in the core of Atlanta, where they still got Cordero Patterson and I think Algier in the backfield. So last year they were ran by Mariota, but now they have a new quarterback, a young quarterback that they're trying to progress. So they really have a deep squad when it comes to the running back talent in Atlanta. But Bijan Robinson looks to be the guy to lead the way at 7,800 playing at home, so he could be a good play. My boy from last year, I was just giving everybody the heads up on him. Like I said, came back off that Liz Frank, had a great year last year, and he has a great matchup at Indy 7,700 Travis Etienne. But before I keep just going down the line or whatever, I'm just gonna focus on, like I've been doing anyway. I mean, not even in the last slate did I talk about the big wide receivers like that. I'm just talking about the big plays that I do like, and I just want to run through it. And it has a lot of injury complications and everything, and stuff that you might want to pay attention to, because some of these people that I'm gonna talk about that could be day one stars or play an integral role in day one, it's just a case of sometimes people, I'm sorry, but I like to scroll down the rosters to see who's that possible 4,900 that can get like touches or whatever. When it comes to the main stars, those guys are priced up properly, but the backups are priced way down. And there's a chance that you could possibly go with my Odell Beckham call at 5,700 and then get one of these backups for like 59 or something. Like, some of these backups are really cheap if some of these starters don't play or have injury questions and are going to be limited. So a lot of this talk pretty much here is pretty much me giving you what the options could be if some of these guys, one, aren't healthy and get scratched, or two, they're not perfectly healthy coming into the season and they're playing a limited role, and like it's going to be a 60-40 work share. So saving salary where somebody's going to get 40-45% of the action is something to look forward to. So let's get to this news and everything, because I got a lot to talk about, and I really think the running backs itself are will take as long as the entire part one video. So let's get part two started. Once again, welcome to the part two of the FanDuel Week 1 preview, and let's get this started. So I would like to start with an interesting take in Seattle. Man, a lot of people love picking Kenneth Walker, especially toward the end of the season. He battled some injuries and played well and really solidified his role in the backfield along with Geno Smith. He's coming in this week at home against the Rams. Once again, one of those plays that I like to focus on. Even though, yes, that Rams defense still has a formidable front seven. Or if people want to downgrade it, probably people like it, they have a formidable front four with Aaron Donald there and everything. But Kenneth Walker is 71. He's battling a groin injury. He can tough it out. But with the groin pulls and everything, if he's not ready to go, and yes, like I said, groins could pop up anytime, but it's August 15th. They literally now pretty much have 3.5 weeks before before kickoff. Wow, am I thinking about NBA DFS? Well, I better not. You're looking at two guys behind him, and who knows? Anything could happen. Somebody could move up the depth chart. But right now, you're looking at DJ Dallas at 4,400 and Zach Charbonnet at 4,800. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm definitely going to take a look at that. If in a Pete Carroll offense, a running back, he likes to run the ball. I mean, yes, Geno's there, and Geno scrambles once in a while, but Pete Carroll likes to run the ball. He needs a powerful running back, and if somehow that's a serious injury. Out of most of the injuries I'm probably talking about, that's probably the most serious one. Like, if you're thinking about anybody that's going to be in doubt and won't play week 1, it'll probably be Kenneth Walker with that injury. But I mean, like I said, it's a great matchup, so it's definitely something to think about. Like I said, sometimes people just won't scroll all the way down. They'll just look for another big name or a star around where Kenneth Walker is at 7,100. But with the groin / and it's a groin / hernia injury, it's gonna be kind of hard for him to I don't think it's clear right now, but reports say he'll be ready for week 1. But hey, like I said, if the body's not set, I don't think you rush him back and then have him battling this injury throughout. You might as well have him ready and healthy, because like Seattle is willing to build on last year, and like I said, with the combination of growing Geno Smith, who seemed to finally find his groove in the pros, I really think they're looking to make a run, and if they're gonna make a run, they're gonna make a run with this guy right here. I don't think they can do it alone with just Geno Smith, with just Geno and the two tandem wide receivers and Lockett and Metcalf. Like, they need a running game. Carroll wants to run. So if Kenneth Walker's not ready, you're looking at Zach Charbonnet and DJ Metcalf, both at DJ Dallas at 4,800 and 4,400. Like, I'm telling you, if you're going to hear some of these prices for these backups, just to keep an eye on it. Like I said, we're still 3 weeks away from the season, but I just want to bring up some names and what could possibly be what's going on. We will move from there, and now we will go to Minnesota, and we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that backfield of the Vikings that no longer has Dalvin Cook, but does have fantasy darling Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison is definitely a favorite of everybody, because anytime Dalvin Cook got beat up and he was like a free square or 66 or 6,300, Madison, he pretty much provided. And you gotta look at you gotta look at the fact that Madison and Kenny Nwangu is both hurt questionably at the moment, but like I said, they can both be healthy and they'll be ready for week 1. But like I said, if nagging injuries happen, or if anything were to pop up, they're actually looking at Abram Smith. I don't think he'll make the team. I think he was just a street signing just in case for the depth. But right now, the two guys that I'm actually thinking about is Kenny Nwangu, who's 5K even, and Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler and Nguangu are actually in competition to see who will be the main backup behind him. So one of these guys might get cut or just get shifted down. Ty Chandler's 4.9. He's a 7th round pick. And also Dwayne McBride, who's also trying to make the roster or whatever. So there's still a lot of preseason stuff going on or whatever. Teams normally carry 4, not 5 running backs. So these guys who are 46 and 4,900, one of these guys are going to get cut. But Alexander Madison is the man. But it would be interesting to see who would be, now that Madison's kind of like the man. He's not coming in for Dalvin Cook. He's not going to surprise nobody no more. So who's the Alexander Madison now here? It'll be interesting to see. Right now, if you ask me, from what I did see the game already, and then I also been paying attention to some camp news. If you ask me, it might be Ty Chandler, who's ahead now. So when it comes to running back battles or whatever, it's only a certain amount of players, and sometimes those could go into like the final week of the season. So, but just something to think about. But I think those injuries that they're dealing with now aren't as serious as the Kenneth Walker injury. But once again, Madison is at 73, Nguangu is 5,000, and Ty Chandler is 4,900. Big gaps when it comes to the backups. So like I said, if these guys end up getting hurt or scratched, there are some backups that are literally free squares. Like some of these guys are cheaper than defenses. So it's really that crazy. When I say that, you know, the pricing is soft. They did the running backs right. I'll go through some of the big names later. You heard me say some of the names. It wasn't much of a dip off, but it started at 92 with McCaffrey. Like I said, my favorite play is Eckler this week. But man, when it comes to possibly starting one of these backups, oh man, these prices are just gonna make your jaw drop. Now, let's go once again into one of my favorite situations, because it's definitely something that I'm gonna pay attention to. Let's dig into it right now. We'll go right to Denver. Javonte Williams is 6th. Is home against Las Vegas. He's 6,500. Now, didn't come into the season on the PUP list. He came in active. He's not doing many 7-on-7s or whatever. He's pretty much been practicing by himself, doing simple drills. Has not taken contact yet. Like Breece Hall, the Broncos and the Jets see those two young running back studs from last year, and they see these guys as long-term fits. Like, these are guys that are probably, might possibly, as long as they stay healthy, I can see them both, and for the future, getting picked up after their rookie contracts, or getting some type of deal before their rookie contract. And they're that good, they're that talented, they're that strong. But to just throw Javonte Williams and make him the man, I do not think they're going to do that. Which is why I love the deal that they got Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine did the exact same thing for a few games. He's 6,000, so he's 500 cheaper. So it's one of the few times where the backup is right there. Samaje, though, being 500 cheaper, I will have him in my lineups. What you have to understand is every time Mixon got dinged up or hurt, he showed up. He literally showed up. Mixon pretty durable in Cincinnati, but when it came to somebody being injured, or at least Perine, instead of just getting a few carries, Perine getting a chance to like get into a flow, he showed it the best, and it wasn't a fluke. He did it 3 times, and he did it 3 times back to back. It was in late November. It was late November going into the first week of December, with Cincinnati against against Pittsburgh, November 20th. At Pittsburgh, at Tennessee, home against KC. Okay, so we're looking at basically that looks like just under 30 touches, 21 touches, and 15 touches. What did he do in those games? 18.5, 17.3, and 28.2 FanDuel points. And then pretty much that, he just played a consistent backup role, had a couple of 10s, an 8.9, and another 8.9. But the man can play, and he can do it both ways. He can run. He's not going to kill you with his speed. But if you give him enough rushes or whatever, like I said, those 3 games, he went 21 rushes for 106 yards, 17 rushes for 58 yards, 11 rushes for 30 yards. But in that game, he did his damage in the air, coming out of the backfield, 52 receptions, 52 yards, and had 3 touchdowns. So, capable back. If nothing's open downfield, Russell will dump it off to him. Samaje Perine is one of my favorite plays when it comes to not having the starter there. And like I said, he's one of my favorite plays, if that. And when I get to the Colts, I'll let you know who's my favorite player uh, behind Jonathan Taylor. But Samaje Perine is 6,000, and then when you got that, after that, if somehow they're not ready to give it to Javonte Williams, can Samaje Perine take the lone role? Yes, but Samaje Perine is a bit of a veteran. He's no spring chicken. He's been around for the league for a while. So behind him, most likely, is former New Orleans Saint Tony Jones, all the way down at 4,500. You're only looking at Tony Jones if for some reason Javonte Williams doesn't play. Other than that, it'll be mostly Perine and Javonte Williams, and I really think it'll be a 65-30, 60-40 share. There's no way they want to just throw the whole role on Javonte Williams, and that knee hasn't been totally tested yet. He hasn't been taking hits in practice. Let's get that straight. He's well enough to practice on his own, run sprints, maybe doing some cut work on his own, but he hasn't been taking hits yet, so just keep that in mind. But Javonte Williams will slowly get his way back into form and shape. But for the Broncos, right now, I'm definitely looking at Samaje Perine. Let's get into the next set of running backs that I want to talk about, and that will be, and it's an interesting situation here, another holdout contract situation. We will go to a team that I talked a bit about yesterday, and hey, man, I might be sensing something because I'm loving the Ravens. I am loving the Ravens because they got a lot of explosive guys in a great matchup that's going to have a really good opportunity to just bust and break the slate. First off, for those who didn't know, they signed former Bronco running back Melvin Gordon. He's 4,500, but he's low on the depth chart. He's behind Justice Hill, who's 4,600. Gus Edwards, who's the first one normally behind J.K. Dobbins, because J.K. Dobbins does get hurt a lot. J.K. Dobbins is 65, right there with Javonte. But J.K. Dobbins is in a contract holdout. So what you're going to be looking at is a run-based team. Now, will they throw it more? Yes. But if J.K. Dobbins is not there on the field, you don't think you're going to take Gus Edwards as a proven backup. He's been there, knows the system. You're trying to tell me now that you got Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Odell Beckham to at least take some pressure from the inside, and you got to watch Lamar Jackson. You're trying to tell me you're not going to take a chance at Gus Edwards at 5,200? If that's the case and J.K. Dobbins doesn't play, I don't give a damn about Samaje Perine. You might want to take Gus and Samaje Perine, but if you made me pick one, I think I'm taking Gus Edwards. Because Gus Edwards does get inside the 5 carries when Lamar doesn't scramble in. His potential goes way up there to go for like anywhere from 12 to 15, 17 carries. Not much of a pass receiver, but that would be more Justice Hill. But Gus Edwards, if J.K. Dobbins is not there day one, then you're definitely looking at Gus Edwards, who is a very, very capable back. Like I said, he does not get work out the backfield at all, but he has his days. I mean, J.K. Dobbins was dinged up, and there's days where he's gotten 16 carries, 11 carries, 16 carries, 13 carries, 11 carries, 7 carries. So even when Dobbins is there, he's still getting carries, 12 carries. So he's just somebody you just need to pay attention to, because it's Jonathan Taylor and J.K. Dobbins look like two guys that might not make it to week 1 if contract talks and all this stuff holds out and things like that. So, but we'll see. If there's something that happens or whatever the case is, and J.K. Dobbins is also a guy that does get dinged up. Something could happen in preseason and everything like that. But still, even if nothing happens to him, J.K. Dobbins is still a force to be reckoned with his talent when healthy at 6,500. Now, I did run off some big names earlier. Got to show them some love. But here's another thing where I'm talking about fantasy. What's the possibility of fantasy usage? And when it comes to usage, I really think both of these guys, they're both good players. I'll flip a coin. If you made me flip a coin, well, not flip a coin. I don't need to flip a coin. I know who I want is somebody who I'll stick with. When it comes to this new look Green Bay team, they lost some wide receivers. Like I said, Devontae Adams gone. What's the other young kid? I forgot. Wow, his name is slipping me right now. But he just went to the Jets. So and then they lost Aaron Rodgers as well to the Jets in the trade. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones is 7,200. AJ Dillon is 61. those guys are going to see a heavy load because they are not ready to throw that quarterback. This will be like his legit official start of a season. The ranks are going to be thrown to him, but he's not ready like that for him to like drop back and just let go 35 passes. There's going to be a lot of screen passes. There's going to be a lot of A.J. Dillon. There's going to be a lot of sweeps with Aaron Jones. The usage for these guys will happen and is necessary for the success of Jordan Love and for Jordan Love to survive the season. They get not a cupcake matchup, but they get, pretty difficult one on the road in Chicago, division rivals. But those two guys will have a workload. If you was to ask me, I'm going to go on a long shot here, and I'll say when it comes to touches between those two running backs, I think both of those guys will probably have on top 40 touches. I'm dead serious. Maybe that's a little too extreme. I'll probably say 35. Because Aaron Jones does get the swing passes because he's the one that's going to catch the ball the most. Aaron Jones will probably get like 6, 7, 8 targets in this game coming out of the backfield. And like I said, it's the same coaching staff. So I've seen him score on this play at least a couple of times every year where Aaron Jones splits out in a trip set and he'll catch it as a wide receiver screen and take off with some good blocking in front of him. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon is necessary for them to touch the ball. It's necessary for them to get involved. And hopefully they can set up play action that will help Jordan Love at least produce. Am I picking Jordan Love? Hell no. But if I'm looking at Green Bay, Chicago's not a juggernaut defense. They are at home. But the volume and the attention that those two guys are going to get, it makes you want to think like they could be your 1 and 2. I wouldn't put both of them in your lineup, but picking either one definitely sounds like a nice GPP play, something that can sneak up on everybody. They need to get the ball because Jordan Love is going to need that help. Now, I've done mentioned his name a whole bunch of times comparing to people when it comes to contract talk, so let's just get it out the way now. Let's go to the coach and go to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, at this moment, is $8K. Okay? Pretty much wants to get out of there, and we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, that's going to be a whole ugly thing because they're not going to give Jonathan Taylor up for free. They did in the offseason, and I did like this move. I really did. I like Zach Moss. I don't think all of his talents have been shown. He was battling injuries his first couple of years. The last couple of years, they kind of gave him a few more carries. But hey, when you play with Josh Allen, it's the typical thing like any running back is going to deal with when you're playing with a very talented two-way quarterback that can throw and run. And then, of course, he had to split time with Singletary as well. So right now, Zach Moss is dealing with an arm injury, actually a broken arm. So it's just a case of how that heals between now and opening day. If Jonathan Taylor is gone or is still not, coming to camp, not messing with the team in any kind of way, the guy there has to be Deion Jackson at 5,600. He's been on the roster. He's been on the team. When it comes to everybody else, he has the most experience. There's a whole bunch of other running backs here. Like the other notable person, I guess because he's a vet, but he could get bounced from the league, and maybe Evan Hall might jump in front of Kenyon Drake at 51 and 4,500. Though either one of those guys could get cut. But the guy that's going to be there will be Deion Jackson. And Deion Jackson, probably not the guy to give the ball 17 carries, but he is somebody you could give 11 to 15 carries and give about 5 to 7 targets out of 4 swing pass or whatever. So it's just one of those cases where he's definitely, and like I said, Jacksonville's a good defense, not the perfect lockdown defense, but if Jacksonville is going to blow these guys out, Deion Jackson's going to be in the blowout run. He's going to be there because they're going to need to pass the ball. Even if Zach Moss is healthy, Zach Moss is not going to be the guy. Zach Moss is not going to be the guy. He was never thrown to in Buffalo. He's not going to be thrown here. It will be Deion Jackson. So you'll get more of that 0.5 receptions points, which would add up if you want to, go that deep. But he's another backup that's at 56. Obviously, he's the backup to the backup because if Zach Moss is not healthy, then you're looking at Deion Jackson, looking at third down rows and maybe every now and then coming in to give Zach Moss a breather and whatever the case is. But if Zach Moss' arm doesn't fully heal And like I said, most likely looking like Jonathan Taylor won't be there. Look for Deion Jackson as another GPP flyer, 5,600. Or at least, like I said, when you get somebody that's cheap and he scores 11.2 to 13.2 if he can, then he meets the salary. Definitely helps out your roster. And also there, it looks like, and that's another thing too. With all that running back news and injury, those are also one of the teams that are in talks with, or at least spoke to Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt also, I think, spoke to the Saints with the Kamara suspension, but that would be a pretty deep backfield. I don't really like that situation for him, but hey, if he goes there, he goes there. And since I did that lead where I might as well talk about the other guy. I might as well talk about the other team that tried to talk to him. Kamara is 7K, but he's suspended for the first 3 weeks. The only thing good about Kamara is he's practicing with the team, but he won't be getting his beat up as early. So he'll probably be the freshest running back by the end of the month. And since he's being suspended, like I said, FanDuel pricing has been sharp in the past few years, but his price will drop. If he's starting at 7K, you'll probably be able to get Kamara for like no lower than 67, 68. They're not going to drop Kamara to like 63 because he's not playing. It's not Kamara. But I think he'll steadily drop with no performance or whatever the case is. But they did get Jamal Williams. He had a great year filling in for whenever DeAndre Swift was injured. There was a couple times he had some great games, just stealing touchdowns. And he's a threat. He's definitely a threat there. I actually like his skill set. With Derek Carr will find him out of the screen if Derek Carr can't find nothing downfield. The opportunity for him is big. He's 68. He's 6,800. Most importantly, so it's a nice price for the guy somebody who's gonna be the guy. Right now, though, the way it looks, they do have Kendre Miller. Young kid, 5,200. Mark Ingram is still there, but he's dealing with a knee and MCL issue at 4,900. The reason why they're in talks with Kareem Hunt now, somebody like Kareem Hunt, it will be a crowded backfield to have that three back there. But they're so banged up that they need somebody right now because literally the way this running back core is looking like, unless they keep one of these practice squad players and then cut them and it's literally Jamal Williams for the first 3 weeks of the season. He's the best and healthiest option that they have. So that's why I think in the end, they'll probably end up with Kareem Hunt. There's a possibility. I think so. What's it going to look like by week 4 and after? I don't know. Because I don't think they want to deal with that issue because they know Kamara's the man and then they got somebody like Jamal Williams to spell it, who's a very good backup. Jamal Williams seems like one of those guys that by the end of September, if he performs well, especially starting off against Tennessee, Jamal Williams could probably end up with a high sevens, maybe a 77, maybe close to 8,000s. If he has one of those games that like he had last year, like one touchdown, then bust with 3, and then hit with another one by the beginning of October, he could be close to 8,000, jumping from 68. So we've seen Jamal Williams do it. He has that capability. So that's that. And then when it comes to the teams, I think I'm pretty much done with that. Individually, like I said, Eckler's my personal favorite play at 9K. You got Miles Sanders at 6,900. If something's up with him, because I know he's battling an injury right now. You got Chuba Hubbard, reliable backup in Carolina. He's at 53. James Conner, he's another usage guy. Here's why I say that. With no Kyler Murray, probably won't be back to the middle of the season. They're going to need somebody to throw to, and he's a workhorse. He's going to slam his way into the line, hopefully bust one out in the sweep, but he's a great receiver. He's going to get some touches at 6,700 at Washington. That game should still be close. He should be able to run and pass. It shouldn't just be all passing points, reception points for James Conner. So definitely look out for that. And then, like I said, right now, even though he doesn't have a team, it's weird. Zeke and Dalvin Cook are still now on the slate, but yet they already had Kareem Hunt. But FanDuel still had him under Cleveland. He still hasn't signed with the team yet. Kareem Hunt is 6K. Once the prices are locked, they're locked. So it doesn't matter what team he goes to. So keep out on the Kareem Hunt news. For 6K, I'll take Kareem Hunt anywhere, especially in a great situation. But yeah, he's already on the slate. So now he just needs to find a team and then FanDuel update the squad. And then that's it. He's good to go. But the prices stay in DFS. Nothing changes. But like I said, Zeke, I expect Zeke to be high sixes. I expect Dalvin Cook to maybe be high sevens, just under 8,000, somewhere in that range. Let's go to, I think I'm done with the running backs now. Let's go to the defenses. As I said before, from part one, I mean, like, yo, I think you just need some pieces of Ravens somewhere in Lamar. Ravens are the number one defense, 5K. You got Washington home against Arizona, 4,900. You got Minnesota, 4,800. San Francisco at Pittsburgh, 47. You got the Jags at Indy, 44. New Orleans versus Tennessee at 43. Seattle at the Rams at 42. Chicago, Green Bay. Chicago going against Green Bay, I like at 4,000. Now, I've done it every week. So I'm going to continue doing it. If you're looking to pay low, just so you can get all the people that you need in your roster, paying low on defense, that's what we're doing, especially in cash games. Favorite low price defense, when I started looking at the options or whatever, I'm gonna take a team at home and somebody who could probably get the Tua, sack Tua. I got Joey Bosa and the Chargers, man, at 3,400. I don't like anything else under that. You want something low and cheap? I'm sorry, I'm not going nowhere near lower, because after that, all right, the Chargers and the Dolphins are literally right next to each other. I decided to go with the home defense. After the Chargers, you can't really go anywhere else. I always pick a low defense for y'all if y'all ever want to pick them. But after the Chargers, it's the Dolphins at 33. Once again, Chargers at 34. Right under them, or the team that they're playing, 33. Then after that is the Los Angeles Rams at Seattle. No, 32. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. They're 31. No. I mean, if they still have some of the defensive players that they had, I mean, maybe you can upset Kirk Cousins to throw like 2 or 3 interceptions. He does have that in him, but I'm not doing that. Not with this Tampa Bay team, no. They literally have nobody against Jefferson or whatever, so I don't really see. I mean, maybe to get a couple of sacks, but that's a game that could easily go Minnesota 31, Tampa Bay 20, 21 or something, in a case like that. And then Houston at Baltimore, you really going to do that? I mean, like I said, I like to pick a low defense, but that's the lowest I'm going to go, so 3,400. And if you could go 3,400 and then on top of that get, like, once again, I'm going to keep bringing him up. Odell Beckham, look for him for week 1. Hey, if he busts, he busts. But I'm pretty sure he's going to have some good days. And 5,700, there's not much worse you can do. So imagine what your salary looks like without even stacking Beckham. Maybe you play him as a one-off if you want to go somewhere else. Just think about the money that you have here. I'm just going to start like this. Miami's LA Chargers defense. We'll go LA Chargers defense. We'll go to wide receiver. We didn't do much yet, right? So let's just type in Beckham. 5,700 for the. What the hell did I just do there? I didn't actually do that. Okay. So that means you pick 2 players, and for the rest of your players, you have $7,271 left per player. You're gonna get somebody cheap. You still don't have to pay big yet. Like, if I wanted to, then who's another wide receiver that I like? Who's another guy that we all like and that know that for a very low price? Okay, I think a lot of people like Jerry Jeudy with the new offense and how he hooked up with Russell Wilson. So you're trying to tell me you wouldn't look at Jerry Jeudy and possibly want to pick him? So we'll go Jerry Jeudy. And now you're just about at 7,300 and you still haven't picked the running back yet. All right, fuck it. Might as well build a lineup. I'm at 39-minute mark I just hit. Who will I go to? Let's go to, we can actually go down a bit. All right, let's get realistic. Let's not just get all cheap players, whatever. But let's say, like I said, somebody that's capable of doing some damage, legit damage this week. I think he's gonna, okay. I think this kind of makes sense. Let's say you do, let's say Samaje Perine. After Samaje Perine, you still got to pick a quarterback, another running back, another wide receiver, a tight end, and a flex at 7,640. And then you could just go to work from there. At 76.40, let's say you go tight end. You don't want to pay up for Andrews. Okay, that's fine. Let's say you pay a little bit down for Hawkinson if you don't want to do that. A popular pick because of the way he finished last year. There's a lot of budget here. Like I said it in the preview. If you're not going to go to the very top, you might as well just go all the way down. And let's go to somebody. Let's go to... Cole Kmet is a bit of a stretch, but he has, when it comes to the new weapons, when it still comes to the receiving core, he has the most connection with Justin Fields. But we'll go up a little bit. Let's go Evan Ingram, 5,800. There's nothing wrong with that. So now you go 5,800 Evan Ingram. Every other player is over 8,000, 8,100. So you can literally go running back. Let's go big boy. Let's go, I don't know, we can go Eckler. And then let's go QB. And then let's say you stack Eckler with Herbert at 81. Let's go wide receiver. You could still pay up somebody for Justin Jefferson. And after Justin Jefferson, select $5,800 flex. Let's go all the way down. Flex. And we are looking in the area of Juju Smith-Schuster, Anthony Gibson, Nico Collins, Deontay Foreman, Pat Freiermuth. Let me see. We're past OBJ, Rashad Penny. Hey, there you go, 5,600. If Jonathan Taylor's not playing, now I see the perfect flex right there in Deion Jackson. If you want to go down a little bit more, who else is really there? You could go another tight end in Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett's a capable guy in that, because that Miami game is definitely supposed to, I think the over-under that is in the high 40s. Yeah, and you still got Cincinnati, you got Tyler Boyd all the way down here at 5,400. So there's some options down here, you know, if you wanted to. But yeah, let's say one of my picks, if he's not there, like I said, Deion Jackson's gonna be the man, and then boom, there you go. And you still have 200, left over. So you got a lineup of Herbert, stacking with Austin Eckler. That's like a mini stack right there. And then you got Samaje Perine, who most likely will get some work week 1, definitely. You got high potential in Beckham. You got Jerry Jeudy. So you got Samaje Perine, Jerry Jeudy stack. And you got Justin Jefferson, Evan Ingram, Deion Jackson, and the Chargers defense. And if that Chargers defense is expected to do what it does, we can do a couple of things here. We can take out Jeudy for Justin Jefferson. And then if we do that, you can maybe want to do we could do this. Just so it doesn't get too expensive. Instead of paying up for Hill, we could go Waddle as a comeback in that game. And then we could still go Beckham at 5,700. And then that leaves you at an 8,500 wide receiver. So we can't get Justin Jefferson, we can't get Kupp, we can't get Tyreek Hill. I'm not mad at getting 8,500 Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, or even A.J. Brown against New England. I'm not mad at that either. If you want to be greedy, you could heavy stack and go Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, and 8,000 Keenan Allen if you want to. So a lot of options there, man. A lot of options. Like I said, if some of those guys that I mentioned come up here, man, there's gonna be so many different variables. Like it's almost impossible to like hate your lineup. You're just gonna have to hope whatever lineup you have just goes off. You know? So just give you that little thing there. Hey, if you want to go just a tad lower, DK Metcalf at 7,700 against a very somewhat pitiful looking defensive backfield of the Rams at 7,700. But hey, man, I just wanted to give you that little, preview or whatever. I hope you loved the episode. Week 2 part 2 is done. Like I said, there was a lot of news, and I wanted y'all to look at certain things from a certain aspect. Don't forget some of those players' names that I mentioned. Whatever. Some of those players could play an aspect. I understand we're about to get into week 2. Some of these guys that I mentioned can get cut. But if they're not cut, guys in front of them get hurt, guys in front of them hold out. Like I said, man, they open up a lot of possibilities. Like I said, some of these guys are cheaper than some of the top defenses. So, I mean, it's something to look at. But you guys just, hope you love the show. And, like, comment, subscribe. And, I just wanted to get in depth with some of these roster moves and what it looks like behind the starter, and sometimes maybe even behind the main backup of that starter. A lot of possibilities here, but like I said, we still got about 2 to 3 weeks of preseason left, and we still got about 3.5 weeks before at least the main slate and that opening Thursday night game. So hope you enjoyed the content and the information, and this is Grade A Fantasy signing off.